All right, let's dive into the world of Jim Carrey.
Oh, yeah, he's quite the character.
I know you're probably familiar with some of his more iconic role.
Like Ace Ventura, The Mask.
Yeah, those are classics. But today we're gonna go deeper.
Deeper?
Yeah, we've got this fascinating video essay.
Oh, it's called?
It's called Jim Carrey, Hollywood und Ben Yunze.
Oh, okay.
And we also have some extra notes to help guide us.
Notes. Interesting.
Yeah, because what's so interesting about Jim Carrey is he's this comedic genius.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But there's also this whole other side to him.
A more serious side.
Yeah, he really grapples with some pretty deep questions.
Hmm. I wonder what sparked that.
Well, to understand that, I think we gotta go back to the beginning.
Back to his roots.
Exactly. So, picture this: Canada in the '60s.
Okay, I'm picturing it.
And young Jim's family, they're not doing so well financially.
Oh, wow.
And how does he cope? With humor. He uses humor as a coping mechanism.
That's actually pretty common.
Yeah, it's like finding the light in the darkness.
Exactly. And, that instinct for performance, it just blossomed from there.
Yeah, at 15, he's already doing stand-up comedy.
15. That's incredible. So
You
young.
have to talk about dedication, right?
But, even with all that talent and drive, he faced some rejection early on.
Oh, really?
He actually auditioned for Saturday Night Live multiple times.
No way.
Yeah, and didn't make the cut.
Wow, that's kind of surprising, right?
It is, but it just goes to show you, even someone like Jim Carrey
Yeah.
faced setbacks. It wasn't always, smooth sailing.
That's actually, that's pretty inspiring in a way.
Yeah, instead of letting those rejections define him, he just kept honing his craft.
He kept going.
He did. And eventually, he landed his breakthrough role.
In Living Color.
That's the one.
And that's where his unique style just explodes,
It's like pure Carrey.
The physical comedy, the impressions.
The impression's so good.
And the audience just went wild for it.
They did, and that catapulted him straight into superstardom.
Yeah, and then the hits just kept coming. Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, The Mask, Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah, he was the face of 90s comedy.
Totally. But here's where it gets really interesting to me.
Oh.
As his fame skyrockets, he starts talking about this feeling of emptiness.
Emptiness?
Yeah, he's living someone else's life.
Oh, wow.
And it's almost like his real life starts mirroring some of his film roles.
Oh, you know what? That actually reminds me of The Truman Show.
Exactly.
It's this whole commentary on fame and the media.
That's almost prophetic,
It really is. He was already feeling that way.
Yeah, that struggle to find genuine connection in all that Hollywood craziness.
And that's something we can all relate to, right?
Oh, totally. Whether you're famous or not.
It's that search for something deeper.
Yeah, something more meaningful.
And then in the mid-2000s, he kind of goes through this philosophical shift.
What?
Yeah, he starts exploring spirituality, Zen Buddhism.
Zen Buddhism.
Yeah, and the works of Eckhart Tolle.
I've heard of him, yeah.
And he has this one quote. It's there is no me, only clusters of tetrahedrons moving in harmony.
Whoa, that's pretty deep.
It is, right?
Yeah.
What do you even make of that?
It's like he's saying our sense of self is an illusion.
Yeah, that we're constantly changing, evolving.
It's a pretty radical shift from, the goofy Jim Carrey we're used to.
It is. But then tragedy strikes.
Oh.
His girlfriend, Catriona White, passes away.
Oh, that's awful.
And that loss, it just intensifies his questioning of everything.
It makes you wonder how he copes with that kind of grief.
And this is where his art becomes even more interesting.
His art.
Yeah, he starts painting as a way to express all these complex emotions.
His paintings become a window into his soul.
Exactly. And, this shift towards introspection, it starts to influence his career choices, too.
Oh, how so?
He starts taking on roles that are more introspective.
Like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Yes. And the number 23.
Those are both pretty dark, right?
Yeah, they're definitely a departure from his earlier work.
It's like he's deliberately moving away from mainstream Hollywood.
He even starts talking about his disillusionment with the industry.
The focus on profit over artistic expression.
Yeah, and it's a bold stance for someone who's, achieved so much success.
It shows you he's really searching for something more.
Something more authentic.
And then you have these later roles like Yes Man, I Love You, Philip Morris.
A Christmas Carol, even.
Yeah, and they all kind of touch on these themes of self-discovery.
Searching for meaning.
It's like he's using his platform to explore all these different facets of himself.
Pushing boundaries, challenging expectations.
And he's doing it all in front of the world.
He's not afraid to be vulnerable, to be real.
It's pretty remarkable.
It really is. It's
Oh.
like he's deconstructing that comedic persona we all know.
Right. And Man on the Moon kind of takes that to a whole other level.
Oh, yeah, playing Andy Kaufman.
Like, the story goes that he stayed in character even when they weren't filming.
Oh, really?
Yeah, blurring those lines between performance and reality.
That's intense.
Yeah.
I bet that messed with his sense of self.
Oh, totally. And I think that experience, it kind of fueled his exploration of, duality.
The mask we wear.
Exactly. And I think you see this shift in his comedic approach, too.
How so?
It's not that he abandons comedy, but there's this, self-awareness now.
A wink to the audience.
Yeah, like in Me, Myself, and Irene.
Oh, yeah, multiple personalities.
Literally embodying that internal struggle.
Some might say that movie kind of trivializes mental health issues, though.
Yeah, that's a valid point. It's a tough balance, right?
Finding humor in those difficult subjects.
Without, being insensitive.
Exactly. It's a big responsibility.
And even with Dumb and Dumber 2, years later,
The sequel,
there's this sense that he's in on the joke now.
like winking at the audience.
Yeah, I can still do this, but there's more to me.
And he keeps pushing those boundaries, taking on those dramatic roles, too.
The Majestic, 23.
Showing his range.
He doesn't want to be pigeonholed.
And The Majestic is interesting.
Oh, why?
It deals with identity and memory, kind of echoing his own explorations.
Oh, I see the connection.
And then there's Bruce Almighty,
He plays God. Classic Carrey.
but with this underlying exploration of faith and purpose.
Right. It's like he's using comedy to tackle these big existential questions.
Making us laugh while we ponder the meaning of life.
And that yearning for something bigger than ourselves.
Yeah, it's definitely there. And that search, it leads him to work with directors like Michel Gondry.
Oh, yeah. Eternal Sunshine.
Such a visually stunning film.
And so melancholic, but hopeful at the same time.
It really sticks with you
It shows how Carrey can blend comedy and raw emotion.
so seamlessly.
It's unforgettable. And he keeps taking risks, like with Lemony Snicket.
Oh, Carol off.
He's so good as the villain.
It's like he disappears into the role.
He's not afraid of the dark side.
And during this time, his personal struggles, they become more public.
Yeah, his battle with depression.
And it adds this layer of depth to his work, like in Yes Man and I Love You, Philip Morris.
You can feel that blend of humor and pathos.
Like he's wrestling with his inner demon.
But still striving for connection and joy.
It's powerful. He's so vulnerable.
And it makes him relatable.
He's not trying to hide his struggles.
And his painting becomes even more important during this time.
A direct outlet for his emotions,
Yeah, they're so raw and expressive, sometimes a little unsettling.
but always thought-provoking.
It's like you're seeing right into his soul.
And then his career takes a little detour.
How so?
He does some smaller roles, films that maybe didn't get as much attention.
Like The Bad Batch and Dark Crimes.
Exactly. But it shows he's not chasing fame anymore.
He's exploring, experimenting.
And then comes Kidding.
Oh, that show is brilliant.
He plays a children's TV show host dealing with tragedy.
And Loss of Faith.
It's both hilarious and heartbreaking.
So perfectly Carrey.
It's like life imitating art.
Or art imitating life.
He brings his own experiences to the role.
His performance is incredible. So nuanced.
It shows how much he's matured as an actor.
And then he does Sonic the Hedgehog.
A return to those comedic roots.
Introducing his humor to a whole new generation.
He's come full circle.
Embracing all those different facets of his talent.
And through it all, he's stayed so open about his struggles.
Yeah, his search for meaning.
It's refreshing,
He's not afraid to be vulnerable.
He's showing us his human experience, the good and the bad.
And giving us permission to do the same.
It makes you think, right? About comedians, I mean.
Yeah, we expect them to make us laugh.
But their humor, a lot of times, comes from a place of pain.
It's like they understand the darkness of the human experience.
And use laughter to, cope with it.
And for Carrey, it's not just about deflecting the pain.
It's about examining it.
Yeah, holding a mirror up to himself, to his flaws.
He's so self-aware,
It's almost uncomfortable sometimes.
How so?
Just that willingness to be so open, so vulnerable.
Especially for someone so famous.
Yeah, it challenges our idea of what a celebrity should be.
Like they're not supposed to show weakness.
But Carrey, he's not afraid to show those cracks.
He's showing us he's human, just like the rest of us.
And that makes him, well, relatable,
Definitely. He's giving us permission to be imperfect, too,
to embrace those messy parts of ourselves.
and to find the humor in it all.
It's a powerful message, especially in a world that's all about appearances.
Yeah, Carrey's showing us that authenticity comes from embracing the whole self,
The good, the bad, the laughter, the tears.
everything.
So, what stands out to you most about his journey?
Well, knowing your interest in philosophy,
Oh, yeah.
you'd probably find his exploration of Eastern thought fascinating.
He really seems to live by those principles.
It's not just talk, you know. He's walking the walk.
He's become this unexpected spiritual guide.
The comedic philosopher.
It makes you think, right?
About your own values, your own assumptions about fame and success.
It's not every day you get to deep dive into someone like this.
Someone who's constantly evolving, challenging us to grow.
Carrie reminds us that life is a journey,
It's about self-discovery.
embracing the full spectrum of the human experience.
The highs, the lows, all of it.
He might be known for his comedy, but his story is about so much more.
It's about vulnerability, authenticity, and finding the humor even when things are tough.
He shows us that it's okay to be messy, to be real.
And to never stop searching for meaning.
This has been an incredible deep dive, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. He's definitely a fascinating character, that's for sure.
Thanks for joining me on this journey into the world of Jim Carrey.
It's been a pleasure.
And for all of you listening out there, keep exploring, keep questioning, keep that third eye open. You never know what you might discover about yourself and the world around you.